Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, Incredible Sulk, and I hope you guys are doing good. Let's see, my levels are good. Everyone hears me. I'm not muted. Everything's good to go. We're fine, everybody. We're doing okay. I am piloting this ship the best I can, straight into the sun. That's where our destiny is. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys are having a great night, staying strong, staying faithful, being the best cult members you can be. I know you are. Thanks for being you guys. And thanks for being here. So, tonight, I don't know. I found this lady. And, she's kind of tubby. And she's, pretty leftist. But I watched her video. And, she had interesting points. And so we're going to watch it. And, it'll be interesting. And if it's not, I'll change it and we'll do something else. We're not, like, set to any schedule, right? I don't get fired if I don't do this. So, that's just how we're going to do it. We're going to play it by ear, and we're going to get through it, guys. It's about class warfare. A topic. Let's call it a topic. It's about that guy who shot that CEO. Luigi. Something like that. Anyways. It's a complex topic. And we're going to dive right into it. And I hope you guys are ready for that. And I hope you guys are excited. So, get ready. Get comfy. Get cozy. Get a nice bottle of Alizé. Maybe some absinthe, right? You guys want to get crazy and get some absinthe going? Get loaded, right? You drink half a bottle of absinthe and you might die. That is not medical advice. So maybe you won't die. Give it a shot, Shoe Nice. What could possibly go wrong besides your entire life? Down the drain. Anyways, if you're working, keep working. If you're driving, keep driving. I hope you guys are ready. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. I don't know. This is some bitch. Enjoy.
About this, and it was on Tuesday. He did it. Son of a bitch, he did it.
Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back. My name is Scully. And
non-binary friends. Welcome back, my non-binary friends. Which is, I mean, does that mean you have two friends? But one friend? Non-binary. So how many friends do you have? Do you have like circuit friends that only communicate in ones and zeros? Are we gonna play that game? Why are you dressed like a witch? Do you think is that your vibe? Is that your aesthetic? You're a witch? I didn't come here to like rag on this bitch's clothes, but I'm here, so I'm gonna get catty with it. All that. No, none of that. None of this. None of this. This Sabrina the Fat Witch. You wish you were a teenager. Well, at least I hope to God you're not. Poor girl. Anyways, let's listen to what she has to say because it's somewhat interesting. I've just been spending this entire time. It hasn't been that long. But yeah, this is rough. Like all of that needs to be fixed. Okay? I don't want to be like mean about it, but I feel like somebody has to because no one's been mean enough to you in your entire life. You would be pretty if you lost 35, maybe 40 pounds. I don't know how tall you are, so let's just start chipping away at that BMI. All right? At the very least. Then you might not be so unhappy. And I'm sure you're like, oh, I'm not unhappy. You said non-binary friends. I've never heard a happy person ever say that in my entire life. Not once. So yeah, just start chipping away at it. Just, give it a shot. balance your diet, for God's sakes.
And I actually have some good news to tell you today. For the first time in years, I feel like
Who do we have?
uniting as a nation. Working
Scott,
class
despite
Republicans
what
and
we've heard.
Democrats alike have come together to
Ardenshire,
say,
Rick,
the best
Pamunky,
guy around.
Boston.
What about the people he murdered?
What's up, boys,
Murder.
girls,
the
whatever?
public response to this
Boys.
bloodsucker getting absolutely murked in broad daylight after he spent his career building policies that were more concerned with making money than
He deserved it. Honestly, he did. He deserved it. What do you expect? I mean, like, what do you expect? It's not like he did anything directly. He didn't, like, kill anybody directly, but you are responsible for, like, the deaths of many. And you don't have any security or anything like that. Even being worth $40 million or something like that. I hold on. We might have to check in on that because I'm not exactly sure how much he's worth. But if you have that kind of capital, you know, one security guard would not be the worst thing in the world. One big black dude, right? One. Even low tier like influencers have like one big black dude that they have do their fighting for them. I'm thinking of a specific little douchebag. I forget his name though. I'm sure you guys will tell me.
than actually saving people's lives has been entirely predictable. According to the 2021 census, it's estimated that Americans owe at least $220 billion in medical debt, despite over 90% of Americans having some form of insurance. I've wanted to talk about this for years, how I think insurance...
It is bad. That's bad, right? I mean, the only reason that medical insurance or, let's say, hospitals, like doctors, medical care in the United States is so expensive is because the United States government is so intertwined with the system so deeply that they basically call the shots. The medical establishment doesn't care about charging out the ass because almost everything that they charge gets taken from the insurance companies and from the government. And there's no incentive to cut your price at all, right? It's not actual capitalism. It's just, it's a type of socialism that is being taken advantage of, and it's destroying people that can't pay those prices. Have you ever been to the doctor without insurance? It is wild. Just to say hi, it's like $600, $700 just to say hi, just to get an appointment or anything like that. And if you want his advice, which is most likely bad, let's just lay it down right there. You can get better advice from YouTube. You can. Most doctors are, you have to be somewhat smart to be a doctor, but not that smart. You can be medium smart and be a doctor. I've seen a lot of them. I'm like, oh, you're a doctor, but your like opinions are shit and you're stupid. I can tell you're stupid. Like you're talking to me right now. And I can tell, like the look in your eye. You might be good at memorization and following certain directions and stuff like that, or you might not have any particular mental illness, which means you're boring. But that doesn't mean you're smart. You know what I mean? You're smart enough, but not really smart enough. You know? But they always get gassed up. Doctors always get gassed up throughout their medical career, right? When they're in med school and then they go to residency and stuff like that. They're always told how important they are and they're the future of the country and how smart they are. And that makes it easy for the pharmaceutical companies to come in and trick these people. Easily. When you gas somebody up, it's very easy to trick them. That's what happens to the entire boomer generation. They were all told they were smart, they were hardworking, and they had some sort of sense of community, of course. But they all thought they were geniuses. And look where we are now, right? A bunch of geniuses would have been able to hold society together for more than a generation. But no, they had a good time, and it didn't matter if it cost us, because it was about them. When you gas somebody up constantly like that, they become malleable. They listen to you because you've been saying they're smart for so long, and they don't want you to be wrong or lying. So you tell somebody they're smart, they're pretty, they're beautiful, they make the best decisions in the world, and then you can slip in a lie or two into that buttering up. And then they're going to eat that butter. They're going to eat it. Nom, 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 nom. And that lie might be a little bit bitter, but the butter is so good. It's so good on the tongue. So there you go. That's how easy it is to trick people. People want to feed their ego first and foremost, right? People say they want to help people, or they always have some sort of high noble goals. Like teachers are a great example. I want to help the kids. But no, you just want to be looked up to. You want people to think you're important and smart and sexy and the best thing since sliced bread. But you're just a pile of shit. Just like the rest of us. You're not special. It's me-itis. That's what it is. That's what you fall into. It's a trap. Me-itis is a trap. Don't let it take you. Don't assume you're better than everybody else. Don't let somebody gas you up constantly over and over and then just buy whatever they're selling. It's the oldest trick in the book. It literally is it's like a used car salesman. Every time.
This is like such a scam because in almost every case, medical, automotive, etc., you're paying every month to prevent yourself from paying a lot when something bad happens. That's like the premise, right? But when you do get into an accident, you usually have to pay anyway. So like, what the fuck is the point? What the fuck are we doing here? I truly can't overstate how important this is for unifying the working class. And I don't really know why so many in the ruling and corporate class are like surprised.
Art and Shara said I had a friend that ate butter straight. It was weird. My baby eats butter straight. Like, we give him a butter, like, fork or something, and he just, like, eats out. He loves that thing. He loves the butter fork, right? We take it away from him, and then he starts to cry. He loves the butter fork. I mean, that's just butter, man. Whatever. People like butter. Some people like butter. Let them have their things, dude.
To be so horrendously out of touch to not realize how much people are struggling for like groceries. We are the richest country in the world, and most of us can barely afford to pay for.
Okay, so the richest country in the world? Yeah, we have the richest people in the world, but like that doesn't mean that doesn't mean everyone's rich. Maybe comparatively to like people in sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, definitely so. But that doesn't mean everyone's rich. That just means we have a bunch of rich people that kind of throw off the averages. Right? So there's a lot of rich people in China too.
Food and rent. Not to mention, we as a country have become so desensitized to gun violence. But that worked in their favor when they were bombing hospitals and schools in other countries. When we saw a school shooting every other week.
They've all been fixed, by the way.
But our government did nothing about it.
Oh shit! Am I gonna get in trouble for that one? I honestly don't care. Whatever. I think the vast amount of SS, let's call them SS, because for some reason that is less offensive than cool shooting. I don't know. MK Ultra has to be at least part of most of them. You remember what happened in Las Vegas at the Bellagio, or I'm pretty sure it was the Bellagio. Nobody does. Nobody remembers what happened in Vegas. What happened? What happened? Some guy, and then some music concert, and then a bunch of people died, and then that was the end of it. That was completely the end of it. And everyone's just satisfied with that. And I'm not supposed to think that's suspicious in the least bit. They use these to instill fear into people so they give up guns, right? They want to de-arm the population because a defenseless population is an easily controllable population. That is the reason behind not every single one, because there's always outliers, right? But I'm going to say a vast majority of these incidences, right? And they're definitely drilling the point home in schools where they have like active shooter drills. like twice a month or something like that. They're teaching the kids to fear guns as much as possible. As much as possible. So when they grow up, they won't want to purchase a gun themselves because they think it hunts people in the night. I don't know how effective it's going to be. I mean, people are people. And most people aren't retarded, but they're doing a job. They're doing a job of making people retarded. Public education, that's their goal. It's not to make you smart or creative or a threat in any way to the current establishment. But it is meant to make you afraid and retarded and malleable, pliable, able to form you into whatever they see fit. And if they can't fit you into a certain role, they'll either throw you on the streets or just off you. Right? Right?
Gun reform or mental health, and only gave us thoughts and prayers because they didn't want to politicize such a tragedy.
Y'all really raised the school shooter generation, and now you're asking us for sympathy. You normalize guns.
School shooter generation, huh? School shooter generation. Nah. Nope. No, this is just extremely effective brainwashing. That's all it is. It's not a certain generational problem, right? It's not like, oh, all of a sudden we have a bunch of psychopaths. I mean, maybe we do, but not to that extent, dude. I don't believe it. I just don't. I straight up don't. People used to bring guns to school in like the 80s, right? Very recently, the 70s, the 60s. Used to like keep a shotgun in their car. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. There was no school shootings. None. Like none. Maybe there was one. I don't know. You don't hear. But now they happen all the time. And with extreme, like, you know how hard it is to get a gun? And then some kid just happens to have access to like a $17,000 AUG and like, you know, $20,000 in ammo. I don't know how much AUGs cost. I don't think they're cheap, but no. What? No effing way. How did that kid get so much ammo? How did he get, like, the kid who shot at Trump? I actually don't know what he was shooting. So I can't speak to that. But I heard, it was a rumor it was a nice rifle. But that might not be true. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Violence to the point where we take days to weeks off of school to practice what to do when an armed gunman comes into our building. And now you're upset. You want us to cry because some man got shot in broad daylight? This happens. Welcome to a regular Tuesday at school in America.
Now, it's not so good when people are assassinated.
Martin Shire says, if you're in a parasympathetic state of fear, you're weak, docile, and moldable. That's why there's a PSYOP daily now. Yeah, but not only that, they're putting like fluoride in your water. And have you guys seen this weird fog? Let's see if I can get some footage from that weird. Apparently, people are seeing some sort of weird fog around, and they say it's not like normal fog. They say it's like dry, and people cough on it a lot. I'll see if I can find it. You guys watch this for a second.
And threatening the ruling class. Now it's a big deal. Now it's worthwhile news. Now we're the monsters for not thinking about this person and their family. This is the story. This is the life that has taken up the coverage in the news cycle.
This right here. What is this? Why is LA? This is Los Angeles. I've never seen LA foggy. Never. LA is known for being clear skies, hot and sunny year round, right? I'm not saying it's never been foggy, but I've never seen it foggy. And people are saying that it's like papery. And like you inhale it and then you cough. And if it was made of water, you wouldn't do that. Apparently it's popping up all over the country. What the hell is that? That's a thick ass fog in Los Angeles. People explain it with like, oh, it's El Nino, or it's a certain current. There's a wind coming in off the. Is it? It's all of those things, and it just happens to be in like Illinois and like Miami and like a bunch of other places around the country at the same time. That is so cool. That's a coincidence. That is one of those amazing coincidences. If that comes around here, I'm staying inside. That's all. That's how I'm staying inside. Maybe it's to eradicate the homeless population. Honestly, like they didn't get vaccinated, right? The homeless population, at least a lot of them didn't. You got to finish them off somehow. The Fog. Maybe it's like that movie where monsters come out of it. And then like the last scene of the movie, the guy has to like execute his family, and then here comes the army, and then that guy is saved. You couldn't wait for a minute? You couldn't wait for like a minute? You're all like, I'm gonna finish. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling that movie, but if you haven't seen it by now, you're not gonna see it. So yeah. No monsters yet.
Michael, for the past 2 weeks. This guy with a net worth of $43 billion. This guy who didn't have to work.
Okay, $43 billion is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And you're telling me you can't afford security? You don't think your life is in danger at $43 billion? Billion dollars? Is something up here? Is something up here? Because I would think if you even had $1 billion, you're going to have at least some security. But you have $43 billion. You're the CEO of a major financial institution that has recently screwed millions of Americans to death. To death. And you don't have anybody? That seems retarded. That's like Darwin Awards type of thing. Is this one of those things where it turns into a conspiracy? Where like, this is another psyop? Is this another psyop? Are we doing another psyop? Right? Was the Luigi thing, was that all that a psyop? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I just don't know why you wouldn't have any security. What's the point of having no security? You have $43 billion. I could have kidnapped. Like, seriously. What? People know your face. People know who you are. Gonna bump into you on the street at night in New York City, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm that billionaire. Okay, well you're coming with me. You're coming with me, idiot. I gotcha. What an idiot. $43 billion. You can't spare a couple $100 for a night of security? Really? I don't know, man. Something's up.
Work another day in his life while the people getting coverage from him and his company are struggling to provide for themselves, for their family, for their communities. Go fuck yourself.
Despite what you've heard, says that movie sucks. Yeah, okay. I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm like, yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm not going to discuss that movie right now. I'll give that to you.
Yourself.
Onia says school shootings are overblown as fuck. Well, yeah, there's a reason for that, dude. There's a reason. Will you think they're gonna pull all this shit off and then not blow it way out of proportion? That would be a waste. That would be a wasted opportunity, right? No, they're gonna blow it way out of proportion. That's why I was so suspicious about this Las Vegas thing. How it just kind of petered out, right? They said their few words and then no one talked about it again. No one's like, hey, how did they take out that 400-pound window? Or, how did he have like hundreds of thousands of rounds? How did he get so many guns up there? Where the fuck is the hard drive from his computer? No one uses a computer without a hard drive. That's not where's the hard drive? You tell us what was on that hard drive. Nope, none of that. Nothing. What was it? 60-something people died. Nothing. You're not going to tell us anything. So what do you expect us to do? What do you expect us to do? Believe the shit you tell us just just because you're telling us? Well, yeah, that's exactly what they think. They'll pump a message through the media over and over and over until people get these like buzzwords, these key phrases, right? And then, they're buzzwords and key phrases when you start hearing them, not just from the talking heads on the news, but like everyday people And then you're like, oh, fuck, I'm in the Matrix. This is the Matrix, right? You're an NPC. I'm in the Matrix right now. That's bullshit. It's
I was at the
frustrating.
doctor's office today, and the person in line in front of me was having all these problems because the procedure that they were supposed to get done had been denied by their health insurance company, even though they had waited all the way until December
JD says, I'm relieved to see it isn't another doc about a woman wanking off Flipper. Well, you're no fun.
when their deductible had met to get this procedure done. They were supposed to get it done back in February, but their
I'll
insurance
do it
company
again.
said,
I
no,
don't
we
care.
won't cover it until you meet your deductible. So they waited all the way until December for when their deductible was met, and then they were trying to get it done today, but now their insurance.
Can you stop doing whatever it is you're doing to your face? Can you stop that? That's weird. I don't want to be in your bathroom routine while you're like, it's very distracting.
Companies dragging their feet and denying their claim, which is really sinister because the deductible resets in like 2 weeks, and part of that is a holiday period, so we know nothing's going to happen. So basically they gaslit this person all year into thinking that their procedure would be covered, and now it's not, and it's thousands of dollars, and they can't afford it. There are still people in this country who don't think that CEOs and boards of directors and private equity is not horrible, is not evil. Okay, these aren't laws. It's not like the law of gravity. Nobody said that deductibles and deductibles resetting in January has to exist.
Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, fuck insurance companies, dude. Their job is to try to stiff you when you want money. I can't even do that the entire time. That's so fucking annoying. How did you do that the entire time? What were you putting on your face? Fuck insurance companies, right? They hate you. They absolutely fucking hate you, right? They're not on your side, right? They're not your buddies, you know? They're not caring and shit like that. No, any opportunity they get to save a dime, they will throw you under the bus. They will absolutely throw you under the bus. They don't give a shit if you've been paying for 20 plus years, right? They will absolutely, they just cut you off. It doesn't matter, but because that's their job in so many words, right? Their job is to make money. And I'm not trying to like defend them in any way. The insurance companies are terrible, terrible institutions in the United States, and they should be removed, made illegal, right? A lot of the U.S. economy is based off of money trickery, right? Lending and insurance and banking and stuff like that, and just moving money around in different ways. That's how the United States is the richest, because it's not like we're doing stuff anymore. We're not pumping out stuff from factories. We don't even have factories anymore. They're all China or Mexico. So where's all this money coming from? Well, we have oil, and you have to trade oil in US dollars. That's vitally important. And oil has to be a scarce resource. That is vitally important. And then a bunch of money laundering and stuff like that. Have you heard the theory that oil might not be a fossil fuel at all? And then maybe it's just something that geologically occurs as a process from the earth, and that oil, like oil wells and reserves, have like been refilling. Did you ever hear about that? That it's not millions of old dinosaurs and trees from the Cretaceous era and stuff like that. No, it's just something that happens. It just wells up out of the ground. And there's tons of it. Tons and tons and tons of it. And there will always be tons of it. Well, if that is true, we must never know about that, because it would destabilize the entire world economy. The entire world economy depends on scarce oil and the US dollar. You know what Gaddafi tried to do? He tried to get rid of the US dollar and have a gold-backed currency. You know what JFK, you know what he tried to do? He tried to instate the greenback, right? Which was another attempt at getting rid of the central reserve, right? He was trying to bust them. You guys know what else they have in common? They got murdered, right? And it happens over and over and over again. Every single time. Not, I mean, every single time they try to do it, yeah, somebody gets murdered. A lot of people get murdered. Maybe oil is not that rare. That's a theory. That's a theory. I'm not going to go looking for it.
CEOs made that up. Boards of directors made that up to make more money. Stop acting like the rules that these people come up with to make themselves more money are law. That they are just undeniable, and that's the way that things have to be. This is
Ric Flair says it's broken down plant material. Yeah, look into it. That's what I thought too. Look into it. It's a very interesting theory. Apparently wells, like old abandoned oil wells, seem to be full of oil again for some weird reason.
is not the way that things have to be.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on my, right? Because this is not distracting. This is not annoying in any, there's no way. Stop that. Stop doing that. That's so annoying. Yeah, fuck the insurance companies though. As a paramedic, I have pleaded with patients who are actively unaliving in front of me that refuse medical care due to the cost. Dude, there's videos of people, and I've heard a bunch of stories of people like they get super hammered, and then somebody calls an ambulance for them, and then they wake up as they're getting carried to the ambulance, and they fight the ambulance as much as possible. And the ambulance wants to take them, right? Because it's like $7,000 for an ambulance ride just for them to tell you you're just drunk. Yeah, no thanks. No, thank you. I'll be fine. I'll puke a little bit. I'll have some ramen and I'll go to bed. All right. I don't need your IVs and stuff like that for $7,000. That would be an expensive night. I have cried with them, knowing I would be back later to pick up their corpse. This system is responsible for innumerable deaths. I see it with my own eyes every time I come to work. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong, right? If you, like, that's the entire point of Breaking Bad, isn't it? That was the entire plot of Breaking Bad. Some guy got cancer. He couldn't afford his cancer, so he started making meth. Right? That was the whole thing. If he hadn't made meth, he would have just offed himself because it's not worth putting your family into, I mean, very serious debt. It would ruin your family. Millions of dollars of debt just for a chance that you might live a little bit longer. Even if you lived a full life, you wouldn't be able to make that money your entire lifetime. So yeah, you just off yourself. It's easier. Or you just don't get treatment. Just don't get treatment. See what happens. That's my plan. Right? That's my plan. I'll be like, all right, we'll roll the dice. I'm not going. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be a frail, like hanging on the thing, right? And it's pumping like poison into my vein. No, thank you. No, I'll just get eaten alive by cancer. How about that? That'll be fine. That'll be fine. And it'll be way cheaper. And it'll be faster too. It's not going to be like 2 years of like, oh, will he or won't he? Or we don't know if he's going to pull through. And, every week in the hospital costs us $20,000. And it's like, oh, no. No, thank you. I'll go on a bender, dude. I'll go gamble in Vegas and like jump out of airplanes without a parachute and see if I can catch another parachuter to survive. Really rolling the dice, right? Hitting some bucket list items. I'm not going to be sitting in a fucking chair getting like blasted with radiation. No thanks. Here we go. That's the bell. Okay, shut up, Bell. Where was it? They can't starve you $5. My girlfriend is a professional surgery scheduler and deals with insurance companies daily. The things she tells me are awful. That sucks. Yeah, I bet she has some stories, man. And that's
But
unfortunate.
this didn't stop media outlets from wagging their little fingers at us for being bad little boys, girls, and MBs, for not getting down on our knees and crying about someone who ran a company that denied a third of their claims of the insurers. A company that made over $22 billion in profit. In profit.
22 billion is a lot. A billion is 1,000 millions. So you have $1 million and then 1,000 of those. And then 22 of those. That's a lot, dude. Right? No one, most people won't even see $1 million in their lifetime. It's a neat little pile about yay big. Like yay big, right? Hundos. Or maybe not even hundos, but $1 million is not a very big pile. But like $1 billion is like that's like a pallet of money. That's a big pallet of money. And then there's 22 of those. It's a lot of money, right? Most people won't even see. I mean, have you ever seen $10,000? It's like this. It's like one. It's one. What do they call it? A rack or something like that. It's got the bill thing around it. It's one of those. One. Most of us will never see that. $22 billion is a ridiculous amount of money.
Last year. Profit from the pockets of everyday people like you and me. And, again, unsurprisingly, people did not respond kindly to this.
Onia says John will turn into the monster from X-Files that had to eat tumors to live. I remember that episode. That's so weird. I didn't even watch a lot of X-Files, but I remember that episode. There's the bell. For they can't starve you again. $2. My youngest son was born premature. For him to stay in the NICU for 4 months was a $1.1 million. Holy shit. Imagine not having insurance for that $1 million. We'll keep your son alive, but you have to give us $1 million. And you know what? I bet it was unnecessary. Because they will try to throw every bill they can at you at the hospital. If you're having your first kid, they know they can absolutely milk you to death. They'll be like, we'll get the NICU in here and blah, blah. And if you like refuse, then they'll threaten you with like CPS and say, your kid is going to die unless we do this and this and this and this, and then bill you all along the way. Think about being a 19-year-old single mom and hearing all that shit and just being terrified. Terrified. What are you going to do? Say, of course. I want my baby to live. Right? And then they saddle you with 7 figures of debt. How are you ever going to pay that off? You can't, and that's the point. It's not about making money per se. It's about enslaving you. It's about buying you as a person. Your working life is purchased through deception, right? Your baby's going to die unless you do this. They won't. They won't. There's a reason we had our kid at home. There's a reason. The hospital system is cruel and they're evil. And I don't know if it's a federal, goes up to the federal level, which I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's a federal type of thing. But down at the hospital level, it's just like, no, go fuck yourselves. You evil assholes. The hospital, the people who work at the hospital, maybe not necessarily the doctors, but definitely the administration, they are evil people. They don't give a shit about you. They want to extract as much money from you as possible, and they are good at it.
They really show their asses with this one. The curtain has been pulled back. The smoke has disappeared. The wizard is not real. And it has become dramatically clear to the people that follow these large media corporations that the media is not here to protect or vouch for us.
They Can't Starve You says it would take you 30 years to count to 1 billion if you did nothing else but count to put into perspective how much that is. So if I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I just kept going like that, 30 years, you would hear me coming, right? That's all I. Oh, that's John. He's trying to count to 1 billion. Yeah, he's been doing it for a couple decades now. And then that's all you hear. Just me coming around the corner. 5,789,000. It's just constantly, all day long, right? I don't even think I would be able to sleep. I would have to. So that would add another 10 years. So like 40 years. Or it would be my life. It would be my career. Counting to 1 billion. And I can't make dollars that fast. I can't be like 1, 2, 3. If I did that, I'd be making a good amount of money. I'd be making a lot of money. But nope, can't do that. What do people make? $15 an hour? So that's nowhere near 1 billion.
Asterisk, corporate media in most cases. They are here first and foremost to protect the systems in place, which benefit people that are already wealthy and are already in power.
The media is not covering the protests.
Dan Snot says, who's this Silver Lake looking bitch? That's a deep cut. Yeah, she does look like she's from Silver Lake. You're talking about Los Angeles, right? Who is she? I don't know who she is. I have no idea who she is. But it popped up in my headphones and I was like, okay, go on. She's very leftist and she looks it because she's not very pretty. And she dresses like a witch for some reason. But she's talking about insurance guy, the Adjustor. Look at the title of the episode.
On healthcare. They're not covering the mass walkouts on college campuses. They're really trying to paint Luigi as this terrible person, but we're not buying it. This has united all Americans across political parties. And
Okay, there it is. There's a bell again, and that's they can't starve you. He would have died. Oh, for $2, he would have died without the care being 1 pound 14 ounces. If he was 2 ounces heavier, we would have been on the hook for the bill. In New York, you are born under 2 pounds, you are considered disabled, so no bill. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not saying that. Look, I'm not saying that your specific situation, it wasn't necessary, but in a lot of situations, they intentionally scare young couples into accepting these like NICU and stuff when their kid doesn't need to go into the NICU, and then, it generates money, right? It's not about necessarily the safety, although it is better safe than sorry, but not to destroy the parent's financial future. Right? They do it for money. It's not about the safety of the child. It's not about for the well-being of the parents. It's strictly for the money. Maybe your case was different. I believe you. I really do. But a lot of cases, in my case, right? They tried to hit us with a bunch of bills. And I was like, no, we're leaving. They tried to keep us there. And I was like, fuck you, we're leaving. You can't keep us here. We're not your slaves. And they kept saying your baby's going to die if you leave. And I was like, no, he's not. He's fine. We're all fine. We're leaving. Right? And they got mad and they yelled and they made my wife cry, which made me really angry because she had just had a fucking baby. Right? And if you hit a hospital staff worker, that's very illegal. So I was like, we're leaving now. And they didn't eject our son. What's it called? When they like dismiss, I forget what it's called, but they didn't but we were going, right? Because staying there was like, I don't know, a couple grand a night. We only stayed there for one night, the night we had the baby. Actually, we stayed 2 nights, but it doesn't matter. We were gone. I was done. She had the baby. It was out. He was fine. He was breathing. Nothing went wrong. We're going home. And they're like, your baby's going to die if you leave. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not, you psycho. Stop telling people that. All right? They sent in the administrator to try to chew me out like it was going to do anything. I'm a 32-year-old man at the time. I was a 32. I'm not fucking 19. Get out of here. Leave. You know? Fuck off.
Powers that be in the media are really trying their hardest, but it's not working. I went to Egypt back in September, and I had a bacterial infection when I got there from Egypt. I had to go to the emergency room. I had to get an...
Despite says she's some skank who wants to fuck Luigi. Yeah, probably. I mean, didn't a lot of bitches want to do that? You know why? Because women like murderers. They do. They do. I don't know what the term for it is, but there is a term. They do. That's just evolution, man. Right? It goes back to the entire like rape fantasy thing in their head. Women are crazy. They're crazy, right? Like a guy, like a serial killer will get a bunch of love letters in the mail in prison and stuff. Women are crazy.
IV drip. I had to get not just saline, but several medications in this IV drip. I had to also get prescription medications that were delivered. I knew it was going to be less than it would have been in the States, but I know it's probably going to have to shell out a few $100s. Tell me why $23 for all of it. That's including the emergency room visit and delivery or the prescriptions. $23.
We are watching in real time
That's nice.
The Fourth Estate, meaning legacy media, right-wing media, close
Ardenshire discharge. Thank you. I'm tired, I guess.
rank around the billionaire class to defend their interests. They are completely compromised and owned by the billionaire interests, so they cannot criticize them. This is the great unspooling. Class warfare is upon us. And then, God forbid you watch Fox News, you'll see Laura Ingraham.
Hey, what's up? You know, that's it. You're gonna, she's gonna chip in on the conversation. Jess, everybody.
I don't know what's going on.
We're talking about that Luigi guy who shot that CEO. Yep.
Simultaneously condemn this guy as a lunatic and then say that the man who killed that Subway performer was a hero. So you see, it's never been more apparent.
They're talking about David Penny, I think his name is, the guy who choked out that crazy black guy on the subway. Good. I'm glad he did that too. There's enough crazy black people on the subway. Choking one to death is not, and that guy was a clear and present danger. All right. He did his job. People are trying to divide it and say like, oh, the people on the right are applauding David Penny, and the people on the left are applauding this Luigi guy, and they're opposed the other way. No, I say both were good. They killed them both, and they both should have been killed. Good. All right? You fuck around, you find out. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or some cracked out homeless guy on the subway. You fuck around and you find out. And that's the law of the jungle. Right? So I don't have pity for either of them. I don't know why the left, when it comes to that, like, that performer on the subway, yeah, he was performing craziness, right? He was being crazy. That's whatever you want to call that. I don't know why they fuck that guy, right? He had a long ass rap sheet of assaulting people on the subway. Fuck him. Good. I'm sick of homeless people, right? I am sick of fucking homeless people. I have no pity for them. I know a lot of homeless people, it's not their fault, but guess what? A lot of people, homeless people, it is their fault. It is. We're dealing with ones we've been dealing with for 2 years. 2 years. Screaming in the park over there. Smoking meth. 2 fucking years. The cops won't do shit. You call the cops as much as possible. They're not going to do anything. I would be happy if some ex-Marine came in and just choked them both to death.
We're hiring.
I'd be like, that settles that. All right? Thank you for your service. I'd be fine with that. Fine. You expect me to feel bad for them? I don't give a shit who feels bad for them. Get rid of them. But also that CEO. Fuck that guy, right? $43 billion and he's stupid enough to get killed. And he did deserve it. He 100% deserved that. He deserved every ounce of that. He deserved that. So I have no pity for him either, right? Why wouldn't you have security? You fuck around, you find out, right? He knew he was fucking around. He knew he was fucking over millions of people, right? People with like cancers and stuff like that. You know, people lost their family members because the insurance wouldn't pay out. And you're not even like, I'm not going to spare a couple $100 for, you know, some big black guy to follow me around and stop me from getting shot in the back. That's on you, dude. And you killing millions of people, essentially. That's also on you. But if you do that, if you kill millions of people intentionally for profit, you're gonna make yourself a target. Why am I the only one that realizes that? Was he just in another world? Like that black performer on the subway? That guy was in another world. He was not sane. Still should have died. I don't give two shits. You know that Floyd guy who I can't breathe? You shouldn't be able to breathe because you are a waste of society. You are a waste of public money. The cops have to deal with you all the time. You add nothing. I don't feel bad for you in the least bit. I'm glad you're dead. I am. I don't give a shit. One less. Fuck him. The same goes for the CEO. One less.
Who the media is there to protect, and because of that, credulity is strained, and people are going to go to different sources, like Taylor Lorenz or somebody like that.
Boston Buckaroo says most like being homeless because they get free everything and anything while being able to just get high and drunk all day. Bingo. Bingo. That's it. They get everything for free from like different donations and soup kitchens and stuff like that. They live in tents and they, you know, any money they have just goes to drugs, right? And they beg for their money. They just sit on the side of the freeway with a cardboard sign that says, God bless, like that's supposed to do anything. I don't give those people money ever, ever. Not once have I done that. Not once. I would pepper spray them if I could. But no, that's against the law. And the cops won't do anything, even though what they're doing, panhandling, is against the law. Even if I called them, they'd be like, well, there's nothing we can do because apparently homeless people are impervious to law. They're doing this on purpose. They're making our cities rot on purpose to destroy our morale. It's all on purpose, right? Otherwise, we'd be able to run these people off and we'd have beautiful, glistening cities. Less homelessness, less crazy people. But now all of our inner cities are just overrun with homeless people just doing nothing, right? Bent over doing the fent lean. That's not an accident. No, it's all 100% planned.
For their coverage, right? Because the hypocrisy is just too great at this point.
In this time, mainstream media has failed to cover a number of related issues, including protests.
Ardenshire says this is why John is our great benevolent dictator. I will make things better. And I will use an iron fist to do so.
Student walkout. They have solely focused on slandering the nature of this crime and trying to get us to feel bad. I wonder why that is. In the days after this assassination, memes were going around about how people's insurance doesn't cover their eyesight, so they didn't see anything. Thoughts and deductibles. If I see the adjuster, I didn't see shit. But all good things must come to an end. And eventually, a McDonald's worker called 911, reporting that she spotted the suspected adjuster. Her name was
Snitch. Snitch. She got snitch. Yeah, she got fucked over for doing that though.
Nancy Parker, and she received zero reward for snitching because she didn't call the tip line or the FBI.
Oh, you didn't put in the right number, so you don't get the money. That's actually probably devastating for her, right? She was probably like, oh, I'm gonna get to be able to pay my rent this month, and maybe I'll be able to pay my kids' college, and I can make my way out of this working at McDonald's at 50 years old thing. Nope.
I hope it was worth it, you old bitch. She also got fired.
I agree with her statement there. I hope it was worth it, you old bitch. Snitches get stitches. And, like, that guy didn't even do anything to you. Didn't even do anything to you. Right? I don't snitch. Unless you're a homeless person screaming in my fucking park.
Fired allegedly because she called the police on company time. So, yeah. Capitalism and empire at work.
Oh, yeah, she got fired too, dude. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Right? You're like, okay, you're working at McDonald's. You're like 50 years old. You're tired. You hate it here. You make like, I don't know, 10 cents an hour. And then this guy walks in and you know there's a bounty on his head. And you're all like, I'm going to be able to quit this stupid fucking job. And then you call the cops and then tell them. And then they're all like, you don't get the money because there's a specific tip line that you have to dial. And if you didn't dial that, so you don't get anything. Oh, and you're fired. Serves her right, I guess. Yeah, that serves her right. That serves her right. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business, bitch. Now you have to get a job somewhere else shitty. I guess you didn't lose much.
Work here. And despite this, despite all of this, despite Nancy Parker basically being spit in the face of the ruling class after doing the dirty work and not getting the reward despite aiding the corporate and ruling class, Luigi Mangione being basically...
Okay, so there's this idea of the class traitor. And since there's such a division in classes these days, I mean, there used to be a middle class. There's not a middle class anymore. There is a gentry. There is a lower class that, you know, lives paycheck to paycheck. And then there are the ultra wealthy. And it didn't used to be like that. But now the problem is that the ultra wealthy are a very small minority. And if you have any sort of class solidarity, then it becomes a huge problem. And so I think it was definitely a mistake for them to stiff her on such a small amount of money. But here's the psychology when you have a lot of money. You only want more. Money is like cocaine. You do one bump and you want more immediately. It's something to do with psychology. They've done tests on this, right? With monopoly money, no less. And the people with more monopoly money, for some reason, want to get more monopoly money at no matter the cost. But they forget that it's not real money. It's monopoly money. There's something that happens in your brain, right? When you have a certain amount, this is why Jesus says rich people don't go to heaven, right? Because there's a psychology. No man past a certain net worth, which I imagine is probably a lot, goes to heaven because it changes his mind. It changes his soul. People don't understand that. They didn't understand it back then. And that's why Jesus kept having to say it over and over again. People still don't fucking get it. Still, it's amazing to me. Dude, it says it right there.
The perfect specimen for us to sympathize with, you know, an accomplished young man who was failed by the medical system. Despite most people knowing some horrible traumatic experience that either a loved one or they themselves went through, despite the billions with a B in profit that was made at the expense of actual human lives, despite all of this, there are still fucking bootlickers in the working class that are like, well...
Yeah, but you have to understand. People hate that. People hate being able to not afford anything and like struggle, and then there's no end in sight. The boomers knew they were all going to retire. They had Social Security. They bought their houses when they were very cheap. There was enough systems in place for them to be able to retire, they think. Millennials, Gen Z, a lot of Gen X, no, that's not possible. That's not in the cards. You know? Most millennials won't ever own a house. What's a cheap apartment? $1,500 a month for like a piece of shit in the ghetto? There's no way. There's no way. That used to be a nice, healthy mortgage. No longer. No longer. And of course, this is all by design. They don't want you buying and owning things. That's why they make it impossible to do so. Cars, houses, you don't get to own things. You will be happy. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Bullshit. Bullshit, Klaus. Bullshit. People are mad, right? They have to work or else they just don't get the essential things they need to survive. That doesn't make people happy. That pisses people off a lot. Not being able to own things is the most un-American thing I could possibly think of. You can't own land. You can't own land in the country you were born in. How are we going to be able to defend it in any way, right? When I can't say this little plot, this right here, right? It doesn't matter if it's fucking 15 foot squared. If I can't say that's mine, what the fuck do I care? Why would I give a shit? Who comes in and invades? I won't. And that's what they're planning. This is all by design. For a long time. For a long time. Right? And we're just the generation that got really screwed with it. Right? Our parents, they lived a good life. They made a lot of money. It was really easy for them. At our expense, honestly. And this is it. That it was a deal with the devil on a national scale. And here we are paying off the debt. It makes you angry, doesn't it? That you don't get a slice. You don't get a piece. No matter what. It's like being born in jail. Only you have to work your ass off for nothing. And if you don't work hard enough, well, you can off yourself. We can off you for you, right? Free of charge. We'll come around with a noose. Maybe we'll do the quartering and stuff like that. They don't want you here. They don't want you here. AI is coming down the pipeline. If it is not here already, like advanced, like artificial general intelligence, it will be able to solve all the problems. They don't want you around for that, right? They don't want 8 billion people here for that. No. They want a few, maybe 500 million. Just like the Georgia Guidestones said before they mysteriously just vaporized. Oh, yeah, some guy blew it up and then he drove off and then we didn't look into it at all. Yeah. Really? You had like cameras and security 24 hours a day for decades. Some guy blows it up and then you're just like, well, oopsie daisy. And then a bulldozer comes in and clears it off. And then no one's supposed to ask any questions. Okay, sure. All right. Why is everything so fucking strange? Why is everything so fucking weird? Why can't we have a lifetime where just it's not confusing? Everything is so confusing. It's not fun. It's not fun. Everything is like, oh, this is some end of the world shit. Oh, this is too. Oh, good. Oh, good. This is bad. What is this? Aliens? Oh, some poison fog that if I inhale, I start hacking up a lung and now I'm infected with worms for some reason. How the fuck did that happen? Why is everything so confusing? It's so annoying.
Murder is wrong in any capacity. Okay, cool. Let me get this crystal fucking clear. As a channel...
Okay. She said murder is wrong in any capacity. No. No. See, murder implies a level of cold-bloodedness to it. But vengeance is not murder. self-defense is not murder. But when you call it murder, then people find it abhorrent. That CEO, that was revenge. And I'm not saying that's the greatest thing in the world, but it's not murder. It's just vengeance, right? Which is actually kind of cool.
Scully and Happy Pancake, I'm not advocating that you go out and murk CEOs, first and foremost. But let's get this one fucking thing clear. What Brian Thompson was doing.
I'm not saying we should do that either. However, it's weird that every CEO is like from the age 65 to 80, and they're really not contributing much at all to society or moving our society forward in general. And it's just like, what are you gonna be? Are you gonna like live for hundreds of years as some sort of weird vampire? Just at the top, just extracting money from people. Step aside, or somebody's gonna fucking ice you. That's it. That's it. And it will come to that. It'll just go right back to feudalism times, where the king has to have taste testers that test every meal he eats because everyone's going to want him dead. Why would you want to live like that? Right? Constantly in fear of dying because you just cannot relinquish any control. Power is addictive. Power is addictive. That's it. That's it.
What all of these healthcare executives are still doing is also murder. They're just signing a paper instead of pulling the trigger. That's it. It's still violence. It's still murder. And until I hear you say every single fucking name of every single person.
Jewy gave me $20. Thanks, Jewy. Hold on. I'll give you the bell. Thank you for that. Oh, wait. Did you say anything in there? I miss it sometimes. Keep the truth coming, Sulky. Thank you, Jewy. I try my best.
That has died.
I appreciate that. $20. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Until I see you make a TikTok video for every single family that has lost a loved one because they chose to die instead of burdening.
Ardenshire makes a good point. He says, don't forget most CEOs, media owners, and politicians are all related, very incestuous. Yeah. I mean, the richest, okay. So when people say the richest man in the world, they think Elon Musk. It is not Elon Musk. I mean, it is. It is Elon Musk. But the richest family in the world are way richer than Elon Musk. Yeah. No, it like a small family of people that are easily trillionaires just combined, or not even in their bank accounts. They can have holdings that are in like, fake names around the world and stuff. Elon Musk is on paper the richest man in the world, but he's not the richest man in the world. Not by a long shot. But we're not allowed to know who the richest people in the world are. But I think we all do. I mean, right? Right? Am I even allowed to say that on this? I don't know. The Rothschilds. They're definitely one of them. Maybe there's a small handful of families. Yeah, way richer than Elon Musk. But they don't want people to know that. They want to think Elon Musk is, but he's not. He's not.
Their family with medical debt. I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of you. I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear that violence isn't the answer until they stop killing us. Because you don't actually care about murder.
I am so sorry, but like, violence has been the answer since the beginning, the dawn of time. What do you think war is about, dude? What do you think the cartels do? Violence is always the answer. When you can't figure something out, violence usually has it covered. If it wasn't for violence, I don't know. I don't know. Because I can't even imagine a world without endless, ruthless backstabbing and like cloak and dagger and like assassinations and stuff like that. Violence is always the answer. And it always will be. Always will be till the end of time. Violence at the end of the day is always the answer. Always. Always. Right? At the... Like, in a society, we are polite and we don't kill each other because we want to like form a society and have laws and stuff like that, and like be able to feel reasonably comfortable enough to like live our lives. However, once that breaks down, violence is coming back with a vengeance, dude. And it comes back hard. When shit gets a little bit too hot, violence is there to shake your hand and pat you on the back and be like, I'm back, dude. Let's do this. And then you just open fire. That's it. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. It'll be back before you know it. Real soon.
You don't actually care about these people that have died. You don't. Wake the fuck up. The only reason that this is being so heavily covered is because Brian Thompson was a powerful rich person. That's the only reason.
Jewy says, I'm Jewish, Sulky. I've got it to spare. Well, spare more. Come on. It's not even real to you.
People get shot every day. Normal men, women, children, trans people.
I'm just kidding. Thank you so much.
The FBI doesn't put out a reward for their killers. So why did they put one out for Brian Thompson? Why? Ask yourself that question. These systems are...
Yeah, this Luigi guy, they did some high-tech investigations. And, you know, nobody from Epstein has gotten caught. Nobody from, like, a lot of things has... They're just like, we don't know. They get away scot-free. But this guy, they track him down with a high-tech, sophisticated... What do they expect us to think? That it's not rigged? Do people actually think that? Are the people that stupid? I mean, yeah, they are. They think we are. The problem is we aren't all that stupid. But they try their best with their vaccines and their fluoride and their poisonings and their propaganda to make you as stupid as possible, to make you as pliable as possible. It works with a lot of people. Not everybody, though. That's the problem.
Put in place to protect those in power. 99.9% of us will never be a Brian Thompson. We will always just be another statistic for them. The media has continued to try and demonize Luigi Mangione because he is the primary suspect in this case, and it has failed miserably. People that actually know him have been vocal, posting their own TikToks, even talking to news stations, and vouching for his character, talking about what a good friend he was, what a good person he is.
Mochi is good.
It came out that he has Republican views.
Mochi is good. What do you want? The Jewy says nonviolence is a utopian childlike fantasy. Yeah, I think she's really into utopian childlike fantasies. If you can like look at that. I mean, like, you going to Hogwarts, bitch? For real? I've been playing the Hogwarts game. It's a lot of fun. But this bitch needs to like pull her shit together. I'm sorry. She's got a good channel. 39K subscriber. How many did this get? 412K views. It's a good channel. The rest of your life needs to be pulled together. Like the rest of it, you do it. Like these lights right here, this screams whore. Right? These lights right here, this screams, I'm a cheap whore. And I will bring you and I will fuck you the first night. And it's because I have low self-esteem. I get you. Pull your shit together, lady. Pull your shit. You must be making okay money. Okay money. I don't know how much. But okay money. So she's hopeless.
And most people, including leftists, don't really care that he's a Republican because we realize that it's so much fucking bigger than that. Some people are being annoying.
Okay. So this Luigi guy had Republican views. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, he did something. He actually pulled something off. So he didn't just wish for it to happen or like do a protest. Protesting does nothing. By the way, protesting, just people laugh at you. Protesting is like some weak dick shit. Do something about it. Protesting is what women do and children do. Men don't protest. Men don't glue their hand to the sidewalk and it's because oil and global warming. Fuck you. Men don't protest. Men do something about it. That's all I'm saying. You want to change something? Change it. The guy changed it. And yeah, he's in jail now. But I mean, he did change it. He did change it. He shot a guy. He killed him. That guy deserved it, though. I'm not defending the guy. He deserved it 100%. I mean, like, cold, yeah. Ice cold.
But I would say the vast majority of people are like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. This whole media campaign, this whole slandering campaign isn't working. And they're scared.
So generally throughout history, anytime a country has a class-based revolution, what usually kicks it off is the working class suddenly has the realization that the wealthy...
Boston Burger says, Tir na nog, pronounced nid, is where the word to nod off comes from when napping, as they thought it's where you went dreaming. Weren't dreaming? Nod? Tir na nog, why did you... Oh, I see. You had because of Utopian. Yeah, Tir na nog is an Irish fairy tale. And it's like, I think where people live forever and stuff like that. I was just like, Tir na nog? Why'd you bring that up? I used to go to a bar called Tir na nog.
Class that's been exploiting them for years is not as invincible as they've been pretending. And that is precisely the reason that you're seeing politicians and news media and even the corporate class themselves working overtime to try and convince you that they're people just like you, because they're fully aware that the social norms that protected them up until this point...
I hate this guy. 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 I haven't even listened to his opinion or anything like that, but you're in a robe with your, like, the glasses and the fucking... I know what you're about, and I think you're weak. Ugh.
Has attacked in the past week. Because up until recently, most of the working class assumed that the wealthy was completely untouchable because they had all the lawyers, they had all the wealth, they were able to hide their wealth in convincing ways, they had all the influence, all the connection with all the politicians. And then...
That's true.
The Adjustor showed us that all the lawyers and political friends in the world can't protect you from getting blitzed in the street. And
that's also true. I mean, even... security, hire security. For God's sake, $45 billion or whatever. You can't hire security. You can't hire security. You've been killing millions of people. Literally killing millions of people with a stroke of a pen. You can't hire fucking security? What is wrong with you? Are you retarded? What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you have a family? Do they not want to see you dead? Actually, that's a very good question. His family might fucking hate him. There's a thing with, like, it has to do with money again, man. It's just, it turns people. And I'm not saying his family wanted to see him dead or anything like that. It's just maybe they were, like, cut off and didn't speak to them anymore or something. What is wrong with you? That's so dumb. Even if you were doing everything nice and were, like, championing freedom or whatever stupid bullshit, but you were still worth $40 billion, you know, get security. Get security. People know you're worth a lot of money. So you weren't worried about, like, a cartel kidnapping you or anything? I don't know, man. That seems suspicious. That seems really, really suspicious.
That not only is it possible to use violence to remove these people from power, but that there's an awful lot of Americans who want to do so. Just earlier today, CNN did a story on the fact that there are wanted posters for CEOs popping up across Manhattan, and that the...
Based. I mean, I don't really have sympathy for these people way up at the top, because they are hurting people to get to their positions. And when they're in their positions, they are still hurting people. And it's not conducive to a unified society, right? It's not. So why would you don't give a fuck about me. Why would I give two fucks if somebody shoots you in the back? I don't. You're like, oh, they had families. I have a family. I have a family. I'm trying to build my community. I am trying to be a pillar of my community. I am trying to establish the future. Right? You don't give a fuck about me. You're not even doing that. You're just scraping when you don't need to do that, right? You don't need more than $40 billion. I assure you, you do not need more than that, right? You're not pinching pennies at 40 bill. You know what I mean? For God's sakes, if I gave any one of you even $1 billion, it would be impossible to spend. Every day, you could go on a shopping spree every day. I guarantee you it would be impossible to spend. And that guy's got like 40. I'm not saying redistribute wealth or anything like that. I'm saying, hey, you got your piece. Fuck off. Go away. Go away. Go live on an island or something and fuck hookers. Like a menagerie of hookers, right? Just do that. Just do cocaine for the rest of your life. Make do a line that's like a mile long and just cut it out, right? And then just blow your sinuses out, right? Do that instead of just like making people suffer more for more money that you will never, ever, ever be able to spend. Ever. And you might be like, oh, it's for my family's, prospects into the future. So that is feudalism. All right. That is strict. That is strict feudalism. And even then, how the fuck are they going to spend $40 billion? Oh, you expect what, your family for the next 2 centuries? What do you want, dude? That's too much. That's way too much. I'm not against capitalism in the least bit. Not even a little bit. $40 billion is too much. It's too much. For your soul, for God's sakes. What are you going to do with it? It'll own you. That kind of money owns you. You don't own it. You constantly think about it. It's a part of your world. It's always right here. You know what should else be right here? Your kids and like your sons and like, baseball schedules or whatever fucking you want to live your life. Live your life. You are here to experience experiences, not looking at a bank account all day long. Yeah, the number's going up. Oh, it feels so good. Why? Because it's a game for you? You're sick.
C-suite class is saying that they're afraid for their lives right now. And it's because they understand this too. They fully understand that they no longer have the one social veneer that was keeping them safe in place. It bears worth remembering that the political class, the corporate class, and the upper 1% are usually pretty good at predicting how things will go. That's why they maintain their influence and their wealth. So if they're panicking this much over people potentially...
Okay, Onias has like the only good... Okay, that's a good idea, Onias. Onias says if I had $1 billion, I'd spend it on hosting an IRL real-time strategy game with remote-controlled military vehicles, ships, planes, etc. Like Red Alert, right? Or Age of Empires. Yeah, that's... because that would be fun. That would be fun. And that's the only reason for you to have such god-awful wealth, right? At least Elon Musk is doing stuff like building rocket ships and let's see if we can go to Mars and stuff. That's cool enough. That's cool enough. But that guy, that insurance company, he wasn't trying to like do something fun. He wasn't going to make like the world's largest chess game. He wasn't going to be like, let's see if the moon is made of cheese. He wasn't doing anything of that. He was addicted to money. He was ill, right? Just like a drug addict is addicted to fent, power is equally more, it's more addictive, right? And more destructive, not just specifically to yourself, but to society in general. So stop. Quit it. bunch of heat get put on drug addicts, and honestly, you shouldn't be a drug addict, right? But we're not focusing on people that are causing like very serious harm. I know exactly why. Because they control the media. Of course. They're not going to make themselves out to be the bad guys.
Taking action and targeting more of them, that probably means it's going to start happening.
Now, I want to talk about this interview that News Nation had with the inmates at the prison Luigi is currently staying at in El
Knobs Dog says, I'd buy John a wardrobe with Tommy Bahama shirt. Go fuck yourself, Knobs.
to Pennsylvania.
I started reporting on Luigi Mangiani's prison conditions as I was finding them out. And as soon as the live shot was over, that's when I turned around and they said, the conditions suck. And so that was my confirmation. Oh my gosh, they're watching News Nation at that very moment. I pulled out my camera, I recorded, and here's more of that interaction. Take a look from earlier today.
Luigi's conditions suck. Free Luigi.
Can I ask you a favor? Can I just ask the guys, if they can hear me right now, to answer yes or no very loud? Does Luigi have television in his single cell? They're getting the questions, and they're giving us the answers. Luigi does not have... Wow, this is quite something. This is the strangest interview I've ever conducted. So I'm going to read out the menu, and then I'm going to ask the guys if it was any good, the dinner tonight. So guys, was dinner good, yes or no? What are they saying?
This is terrible.
I heard terrible. I heard terrible.
They're saying heck no. They're saying BS. They're saying terrible. They're saying that's not what they are eating.
Every one of those prisoners is in the hole, right? In the hole now, right? You don't fuck around like that. Every single one of those prisoners must be in the hole. That probably pissed the warden right off, because I bet the mayor called the warden, and the mayor was all like, what the fuck's going on down there? And then, yep, that was not a good look. That was not a good look for the warden. Every one of those guys is probably regretting that. Yep. But that's pretty funny. That's funny.
This is the first time I've seen any kind of interview like this. And a lot of people have talked about how this has had like a really profound impact on them, how it's peak journalism. I agree. You know, like the prison systems is one aspect of American culture that I feel like we don't really talk about enough in schools, because
Boston Buckaroo, give me the $20. Put that. Don't give it to Knobs Dog and his stupid Tommy Bahama fund. Give it to me. This is a real thing. I don't want a Tommy Bahama shirt. I'm not going to wear a Tommy Bahama shirt. If I get a fucking Tommy Bahama shirt in my P.O. box, I'm going to lose my mind, dude. Give me the money.
we think, criminal do bad things.
I'm going to lose it.
Criminal go to prison.
I'm going to lose it.
Think about them or how they reintegrate into society, if they even reintegrate into society at any point. But having this interview and having people on a much larger scale learn about the terrible conditions of these prisons is significant. And while I think, yes, most of us should be aware of as many problematic aspects of our country as possible, I did come across some people that were like, yeah, like, this isn't that revolutionary. You can just talk to inmates. And it's like, yeah, you can send letters.
Yeah, you can't, though. I mean, like, inmates are inmates for a reason, and they're not allowed. They don't have rights. Inmates don't have rights, right? I think it was the 13th Amendment that says, like, we can't have slaves anymore unless they're inmates. So they don't have rights. Once they go in there, they don't have rights. They don't have like this freedom of speech, or I think they have like Geneva Convention or like certain rights that humans have, but general American rights they don't really have. They can't vote. They can't own a firearm. They can't. Free speech is not really a thing there. Yeah, it's prison. It's supposed to suck, but I'm sure it's probably a lot worse than it needs to be. And I don't want to get started on the entire prison system, because that's a rabbit hole, and we could go down that for a while. There's for-profit prisons, and there's public prisons and stuff like that, and then there's like factories inside of those prisons where they pay them like 10 cents a day to make office furniture or license plates and stuff like that. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. I think if you go to prison, you get to sit there until you get out. That's it. That's it. But, because once you start making them work, then you have to give them things like, oh, you need snacks and you need a pool table for rec and stuff like that. It's not supposed to be like an offshore oil drilling rig. It's supposed to be prison. It's called a penitentiary for penitence, which means being sorry. So you're supposed to sit there and think about what you've done. Not like work every day. No, you're supposed to fucking sit there. I don't think they should make prisoners work. And if they stop doing that, if they made that illegal, watch prisons just disappear overnight. Watch laws change. Watch people not go to jail for petty bullshit anymore. Overnight. Because they do make money. Prisons make a pretty good amount of money. You know how much it costs to house a prisoner every year? It ain't cheap. It is not cheap. So yeah, they make good money. Public ones, private ones, doesn't matter. They make good money for the state, for the people that run them, for the businesses that benefit off of them. And yeah, I don't think that should be. There shouldn't be a financial incentive to lock people up. That's all I'm saying.
But not everybody's going to do that. And it's not realistic for you to think that everybody will do that. Like, it's just, is that a really awesome thing? Yeah, and I think should more people do it? Absolutely. But this is something on a large scale. This is something that a news station covered. It went viral all over TikTok, all over YouTube, and you couldn't get away from it, even if you tried. Talking about the horrible food and the horrible conditions, and how they suggested that Luigi just gets sent off to another prison because the conditions in this prison were terrible. So yeah, I am of the mind that I do think this is significant, and I would love to see more from this news station. I hope they don't get in trouble for this or anything, because I think that this is really cool, and I think that more voices of inmates should be heard. Luigi Mangione has also been announced that he's going to be transferred to Rikers Island, which is terrifying. Jean Barret.
It's just another prison, like Sing Sing or something like that. I'm sure they're all bad, dude. I'm sure they're all bad. I mean, he's going to max security, right? And so they keep the real bad ones. It's just amazing how they track this guy down. You know how many murderers are out there that are just still murdering? I mean, how many people did John Wayne Gacy? John Wayne Gacy killed like 50 people, and they just happened to find him, right? They just happened to find out that he had a bunch of little dead boys under his house, right? He was a birthday clown. Kids would often disappear at parties that he would attend. Nobody was able to put two and two together, but somehow they're all like, we got the best minds in the country. That's going to make people mad, you know? That's going to make people mad. The entire way the elitist class handled this situation was stupid. The PR is terrible, right? The PR is terrible, and especially with things like Epstein going on and the Diddy things. Dude, there's so much going on where you could actually put investigative resources towards that people would be happy about. But no, all of this for a billionaire when people are struggling more than ever, that's just going to make people mad. That's just going to make people... And then you stiff the McDonald's worker? Like, dude, right? That is, if I was like an elitist like that, I'd be like, we need to pay that McDonald's worker, because if this happens again, we need more people to snitch, right? Now nobody's going to snitch because they're not going to get paid. What did you save? $1 million, maybe? That was very stupid of you to do. That's a very stupid thing of you. But hey, they made $1 million. That's what they think. They made $1 million along the way. These people are ill, right? That's an illness. You made $1 million that you won't be able to spend because you already have several billion. What is wrong with you, right? That would have changed her life. She was willing to make herself a social pariah. So, her kids would have some sort of stability in their life. And now she's a social pariah. And you stiffed her. You know who the next person? She's the next one. She's the next one. She's going to put the mask on and everything like that and hunt somebody down because she got fucking boned. What does she have to lose now? She got fired from McDonald's. She can't get McDonald's anymore. Right? She was pilfering fries off the side. She was taking the throw out food and stuffing it in her purse. A fireable offense. But She gets fired for a phone call while at work. Reporting a felon. Was that the best idea you had? That was the best idea you had. Okay, whatever.
Borello, who was a
Whatever.
former organized crime associate, spent 13 years in prison, and 4 of those years were at Rikers. He described the conditions at the New York City prison as the, quote, most dangerous in America. He warns that if Mangione is transferred to Rikers, he will face harsh realities, including substandard food, unsanitary conditions, and safety concerns. This is obviously not...
Boston Buckaroo says this girl's face is like RFK's voice. And that's like that's such a good description. The poor girl, dude. Stop stuffing your face. You'd be pretty. Just lose like 40 pounds. Minimum 40 pounds. And then all that, and then all that. And it'll like, you look great. You will look great. You'll feel great. You've just been like shoveling bad food in your gullet, and then bad dick in your vagina. And then, because of these stupid lights, these string lights you hang up. These are whore lights. Let me guess, you have one of those big, like, psychedelic blankets on the side, and then they're mood lighting. Dude, it's a meme, for God's sakes. You're a meme. Everybody knows what meme I'm talking about, right? Right? Don't be this girl. Don't be that one. Don't be the easy layup.
News. The prison systems are horribly corrupt in this country, especially for-profit prisons that literally benefit from people going behind bars. Michael Jacobson, the previous corrections commissioner, stated...
Private prisons, yes, they do benefit from people going behind bars, but so do public prisons. We have to make sure that because public prisons, for each bed they fill, they get funding from the feds and the state and stuff like that. So they are public, but yes, they still do benefit from laws and they financially benefit, not only in filling the beds, but also having factory workers. So it's not just private prisons. I want to be clear about that. It's not just private prisons. There's also people in our federal government that are making a huge amount of money off of our federal government. It's not just private.
About Rikers, quote, there's no transparency, he said.
If anything, I would think the private would have to be held to a higher standard because there's a bunch more issues and they can get sued and stuff like that the federal government and federal programs aren't subject to. So maybe private prisons would be a better option.
Said. No one can really understand what's going on. The infrastructure is so old. The whole place is a landfill, and it's just deteriorating and crumbling. There's just not enough money in the world to raise the standards of that place for it to become a dignified, humane system. And this was someone that...
despite what you've heard, says she can be cuter, but she can't be more likable. Let me think. Women are nothing more than their face. Okay.
That worked. Like,
women are their looks, dude. What are you talking about? That is women. Their personalities are changeable, and you can change their opinions. You can change their personalities. You can change the way they act. You can do all that, right? You can do all that. It's not hard. It's not like this is their set in stone personality. No, women like what you tell them to like. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. No, women like what you tell them to like. That's why groupies exist for certain things like jersey chasers and chuckle fuckers and stuff like that, right? It's not like they might have an interest in that stuff, sure. But if a NASCAR driver comes by and he's into her, oh, guess who's really into NASCAR now?
He probably doesn't benefit from like airing out their dirt.
You can change their personality. It's not, I mean, she might be a bitch, but like, I mean, come on. it's women.
Laundry like that. Like, this is, it's
hey,
bad. And this is where Luigi Mangione is going and what thousands of other inmates have to deal with, whether they...
Dan Snow says, John tells Jess she has to watch Daywave. I would never do such a thing. Why would I have my wife, who's taking care of my kids, watch this stupid show that I go and make dick jokes on? No, I would never do that to her. She sometimes listens, but not usually. Never. I would never do that. If she was, I'd be like, why were you watching Daywave? It's pointless.
They are guilty of their crimes or not while they await trial.
I mean, you should watch Daywave because it's super funny and weekdays at 10 a.m.
We also need to talk about Brianna.
Brianna Boston, 42-year-old mother of 3, is facing charges that could...
Mel Stocks just stole the show today. I know. What the fuck, you guys? You know I'm on that show every single day. And then what? She made like $100. Well, she didn't make it. Royce made like $100 because you guys wanted Jess to be on the show. Dude, what the fuck? I'm here too. I'm a human.
Rail her entire life, all because she...
She's prettier than me. And that's all that matters.
Expressed frustration with the health insurance industry after a phone call with Blue Cross Blue Shield about denying claims. Boston ended the conversation with the now infamous words, delay, deny, depose. You people are next. These words, borrowed from national headlines about the corporate greed and systemic failures within the insurance industry, have landed her in jail with an outrageous $100,000 bond. Boston's comments stem from years of fighting an uphill battle with insurance companies, a struggle that many Americans, including myself, know all too well.
Bitch, we have to be living...
Tejas says it's not all about you, John. No, that doesn't make sense.
Black Mirror episode. Because how does 42-year-old mother get on the phone with the insurance company Blue Cross?
Daywave is about me, 100%. That show is about me and for me. All right, Daywave, it's a fever dream without me. No, I'm just kidding. They don't need me.
Just to discuss a denied.
Fuck, they don't even pay me. I just show up because I like doing it. I do it for the love of the game, nigga.
All these insurance companies do. And at the end of it, she says,
for you guys,
deny, depose. You people are next. The police are knocking at her door the same day, talking about she made terroristic threats for a mass shooting. Excuse me?
Tejas says Jess is the funnier one that hurts John sometimes. Okay, yeah.
Brianna don't even...
I mean, like, legit, though, if she does have a crack, I'll be like, okay, that was good. All right. Points to Slytherin. She's a Slytherin. She doesn't... I would say Gryffindor, but then she'd slap me because she's a Harry Potter nerd.
Oh, the gun. Brianna ain't never been in trouble in her whole entire life. Her record is clean.
Yes, Knobs Doc. I'm on Daywave. For God's sakes. I'm not...
She don't even got
Jesus.
And arrested her. What about
bunch of retards? You guys are retarded.
Ones that play with people's lives every day. All she said was karma is going to bite you in your ass, and she's absolutely right. Free Brianna Boston. She ain't did shit to nobody.
To me, I think it's very clear that the harsh treatment of Brianna Boston is meant to be a deterrent for anyone else challenging these.
Okay, maybe you didn't catch that because I was talking too much. Brianna Boston, she said, like, you're next on a video or something like that, and she got 15 years for that. She said, you're next. To not any specific person, just in general to, like, other insurance companies and stuff. Like, a very nebulous threat at best. And then she got 15 years. She had 3 kids. She got 15 years. For a very, very nebulous threat. Like, not even a threat as in, like, all the threat. I mean, I get threatened on Twitter every single day. And no one gives a shit. There's threats flying around Twitter all the time. No one gives 2 shits. This bitch got 15 years because she kind of alluded to that if the insurance companies didn't change their ways, that there would be more of this kind of violence. So that's more of a warning than a threat. 15 years. Can you believe that shit? The entire thing is a PR nightmare, right? I think it really rattled some boots. Of course it did, right? Because billionaires typically don't like getting shot in the back in the middle of the night. Typically. I mean, there is gay ones. But, typically they don't want... So I think they overplayed their hand. And then people kind of realized, oh, we're under a lot more control than initially thought. People know we're under control. We're controlled. But this whole thing was like, oh. It was like that. The timeline and everything, right? It was just like that. When they start throwing away innocent, that's innocent. for like 15 years just for, again, a very nebulous, non-specific, more of a warning threat, then you can tell that people are kind of upset. That's when you like insult the king and he throws you in the dungeon for the rest of your life. That's exactly the same thing, right? You made the wrong joke and now you've angered the elite, the king's court, the high realm, and they're going to make an example out of you, which was a mistake. They should have just let it go. Honestly, they should have let it go. They should have just let it go and then not done anything. They should have let that guy off. Even if they found him. Just be like, no, we didn't find him. Just let him off. That's what they should have done. But no, they used all their power and then everyone's all like, wait, you can find this guy, but you can't find like 300,000 missing children under Biden's administration? Really? What? You can find this guy, but you can't find $2.1 trillion that went missing after 9/11? Really? Or before? Really? That's very interesting. This was a threat in itself.
Healthcare companies or anyone else in power. This to me seems very clearly like a scare tactic, like an intimidation tactic, and to try and keep people quiet. I don't think that it's worked.
Dick Rickham says it's like being in the Nightwave chat. And can we not be like that? Can we not? What is there a lot of N-bombs going on? I don't know.
It's just made people more mad because, and I don't understand what they're not getting, because the more you do shitty things to regular people, the more that's just going to galvanize the working class against you. Like
Onia says that's fucked. This is why it's retarded. People argue that threats aren't freedom of speech. So, yeah, there's a certain forms of speech that aren't technically considered freedom of speech. Shouting fire in a crowded theater, calls to action, like threats and stuff like that. Like, I'll give you $500 if you assassinate this guy. Yeah, but I think those things should be illegal, but I don't exactly. I mean, I get how it's kind of a violation of. I don't know how to argue that one, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Don't know how to argue it. I don't think you should be able to yell fire or like, organize hits against people. But they take it too far, right? They said this was a threat of violence, which it clearly was not. And there's much more credible threats of violence all over Twitter that they say they do nothing about. So it kind of seems like you're picking and choosing, and that's not how the law is supposed to work.
they're just making it worse for themselves. This mother of three is going to be going to jail for 15 years for basically like saying a threat over the phone. Do you know how many people in retail jobs have to deal with threats on a daily basis? But also, I think it's very interesting.
Not even over the phone, like waitresses and stuff. You know how many threats waitresses get or bartenders get? All the time. Nothing happens. But yep. And I wouldn't even consider that a threat. I would consider that a vague warning at best.
How there are cases like domestic violence, for example, where someone will go to the police with credible evidence.
Shut up.
Like reports.
If you're in a domestic violence situation, leave. Right? Leave? Is that too much? Leave? You can't fucking leave? Leave? Right? Oh, I have nowhere to stay. Who gives a shit? Leave. If the only place I can stay is a house where I might get murdered, I'll be like, nah, I'll just like get a hotel or something. I don't have to stay in that house where I might get murdered. Leave. You're so stupid. It's so stupid. You know how many women's shelters are out there? Thousands and thousands and thousands. You know how many men's shelters are out there? Zero. You know why? Because a man is smart enough to be like, I'll just get a fucking hotel. Right? I'll just get a fucking hotel. The entire domestic violence issue is kind of another weapon against monogamy and marriage and stuff like that, right? When you give women way too much power, they're going to abuse it, right? And just a threat. If like your wife threatens you in the state of Florida, it just says, I'll tell the cops that you beat me, you automatically get red flagged. You can't have guns anymore for the rest of your life. That's it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. No evidence whatsoever. None. That system needs to be changed, but it's working exactly how they want it to.
It's either medical reports from being beaten or, text messages of their partner threatening to kill them. That's never enough for police. You could
leave. Leave? I don't know. I'm sorry. You go to the police and they're all like, I'm sorry, we can't help you. But you're here in the police station, so you're obviously not a slave. Don't go back there, you dumb bitch.
You can have someone know your address, know how to get in.
Change your address.
Into your house, know your family, know your phone number.
Change all that shit. If a man, women make threats too. And like they know all that shit, and women can be way crazier and like set your car on fire and stuff like that. Nobody wants to help them out, right? What are they gonna go to the cops? The cops are gonna laugh at them. Laugh in their faces. They'd be like, that's just some girl, dude. Whatever. You're a pussy. And then high five. No, dude, handle it. Handle your shit. Handle your own shit. Right? The government doesn't need to be your fucking daddy. Okay? It's not your fucking daddy. You can't cry to him every little problem you have, all right? Handle your own shit. Women, I'm speaking to women specifically. The government is not your fucking daddy, all right? Handle your shit like an adult, all right? If somebody's beating the fuck out of you, walk out. Don't come back. Is that really that hard? Really? Don't threaten the oh, I'm going to have the government come and they'll take you away forever. Just at the drop of the hat. Well, you're like a terrible person now. You're a terrible person. And now you're using the government against, you're a bad mom. You're a bad mom too. Dude, when you give women power like this, they're inevitably going to abuse it. I'm not saying men wouldn't, but I'm saying women will definitely abuse it. And that's all part of this stupid fucking plan to destroy the nuclear family.
Know where you live. Know all of these things. Know your comings and goings, where you go to work. And that's not enough. Police need...
Couch Surfing makes a good point. She says, if you have absolutely nowhere to go, that means you're a piece of shit person. You have nobody in your life that will take you in. You must be a cunt, dude. You must be a cunt to everybody you meet. And then it sounds like you deserve to get the shit kicked out of you. Right? Because you can't behave right and you can't even like make friends or like, your family's dead or something like that. I don't know, dude. You can't go anywhere. You must have fucked up your entire life. Come on.
What happened? Police, like the amount of people that end up dead because police did nothing, because they're stalkers, they're ex-partners, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, whatever.
It's really not that big of a number. It's way overblown. She says the amount of people, like it's a big number. It's not a big number. It's a very, very small number. I would guarantee that more women kill men. Well, I don't know about that. But I really don't think stalkers are that big of a problem. Women like to think that because they want to think they're desirable. And most women aren't desirable. I mean, yeah, most of them are not. But they want to think that. I can get raped at any moment because I'm so hot. Oh my God. Hold on, Goof. Back at you, buddy. You ain't that hot, bitch. Come on.
Made real threats to their safety and their well-being. And police did nothing because there wasn't enough evidence.
You're a fat cow. This one, that girl, fat cow. Very serious show.
This woman who has no priors. This woman who's a mother of 3. This woman who has never owned a gun before. That's the credible threat. That's the one that has to send you to prison for 15 years. Are you fucking kidding
No,
me?
no, I mean...
Yeah, this guy keeps sending me death threats and voicemails and follows me everywhere. Can you please help me?
Look, lady, we've been over this. Tell us when he actually kills you. Till then, there's nothing I can do.
Thank you for paying us for 20 years, but your claim has been denied.
Wait, please,
Goodbye.
You people are next! Yeah, she was way out of line making a threat like that. But don't worry, folks, we got that dangerous criminal off the streets. That mother of three will never see her kids again.
I really hope that people are waking up to this because
I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, like, yeah. That's absolutely right.
I feel like this, we can't forget about this. We cannot. All right, we also got to talk.
Art and Shire says all women think they're the main character, all of them. Yeah. I have no argument for that.
Talk about the drones in New Jersey. Amidst the loud opposition of the state and the systems that it protects, drones, enormous, like 6-foot-long drones were recently spotted in New Jersey that apparently the government knows nothing about. In fact,
yeah, she goes on talking about the drones, but it doesn't really matter because we're out of time and nobody knows anything. We still don't have any information. We just forgot, just collectively as a society. We're like, drones? What drones? The fuck are you talking about? It's February now. There was no drones. Just a mind wipe. Just a fucking mind wipe. How do they... I'm running around like a madman. Like, you guys don't remember that? You guys... What? No? Nobody is worried about this. And I just look like a crazy person. And I feel like a crazy person. And you guys come and watch me because I'm fucking crazy. What is wrong with you? Thanks for coming. Thanks for being part of the cult. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for all the donos. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys stay strong and stay virulent and passionate about your life and chase your dreams and be the best people you can because you're my people. You belong to me. And I will take you out of this world when I see fit. Until then, hit the like button. Have a great night. Have a good night. Be well, be wise. Be awesome to each other. You know. I'll see you on Daywave tomorrow and then right back here on the Sulk stream at 8 p.m. Until then, get a good night's sleep. Drink a lot of water. And take care of yourselves. Because I care about you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul. Unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. Unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.